If I only talk about the advantages of being in a community without mentioning the not so good aspects about community, then that would be one-sided and that wouldn't be fair on my part. So welcome back to Let's Return with Esther. In today's video, we are going to talk about the not so good things or the not so good aspect of living in a community and being in a community. And as my previous video, I have three key important things that I would like to mention. And I think the very first thing that I have realized with being in a community is that your boundaries are going to be crossed, you know, and this means that you will have to confront people quite a lot. And this is pretty bad news for people who avoid confrontation, who do not like to confront, because the thing is, you're going to get hurt, you're going to feel disrespected, you're going to be disappointed, you know, somebody's not going to meet your expectations. I mean, you name it. If you are in a community and you live with people, trust me, sooner or later, you're going to find yourself in a predicament that you didn't want to be in, and you're going to find yourself getting offended and getting hurt. So the thing is, how do you go about it, you know? And the only way to go about it is by confronting people and letting them know the things that you don't like, or maybe the things that you didn't appreciate and things like that. Obviously, when we talk about confronting, it sounds a little bit aggressive, but I think it's actually quite a positive word, because for me, when I talk about confronting, it's just about letting the person know that a boundary has been crossed. I mean, first of all, what the boundary is, and letting the person know that the boundary has been crossed. I mean, if, for instance, you don't like to eat at 10 p.m., right? And you find yourself with a group of people and they always want to eat at 10 p.m. and you eat just maybe out of courtesy, eventually you're going to end up being, you know, having your feelings being hurt. You know, you're going to somehow feel offended. But then the thing is, if you let that group of friends or group of people know, hey, I actually do not like to eat after 10 p.m. and I think that you are helping them and you're giving them tools to show you that they want to make you feel better, isn't it? So you always have to let people know where you're standing at, and then you always have to let people know when they are crossing that boundary. Now, the thing is also, if you let somebody know what you like and what you do not like, and that person still ends up doing repeatedly the same thing that you do not like, this always gives you an idea that maybe it's a friendship or a relationship maybe not worth pursuing. So it's going to be up to you. But I think for me, the thing that I do not like so much about community is that your boundaries are definitely going to get crossed. So number two, it's what I would call excessive input. Excessive input. I'm actually also very guilty of this, to be honest. So this is also a disease that I do have. So I don't have any tip on improving on this issue. So what do I mean by that? You know, I think also it's culture-based, to be honest, because sometimes you don't want to always have people commenting on everything that's happening to you or on everything that you're doing, right? I'm just going to take a very simple example. Let's say that I am wearing a new pair of shoes. Sometimes I just would like to go unnoticed. I don't want people to know that I have a new pair of shoes, and I don't want people to comment on this new pair of shoes, and I don't want people to tell me that maybe the color of this shoe is not the right color for me. You know, I just want to be unnoticed. But no. When you live in a community, trust me, I think you're not going to live unnoticed. People are going to see, people are watching you, people are your every move, whatever you do, people know about it. You know, just if I go back again to this example of the shoes, you might be in an environment where there will be someone in that meeting giving you a review of all of the shoes that you've worn till that day, you know. So it's something that you kind of have to, you know how to deal with it. And as I said, to me, it's something I'm very guilty of it, because I am one of those people that I scan my environment, so I'm able to see what's new, what's not new, and I don't know why, but I always talk about it and I always comment on it. So, well, that's something that you kind of have to deal with. And you know that Christians, they are extremely opinionated. You know, Christians have very strong opinions, and they have opinions on everything. So you kind of have to be able to deal with that. Number 3, and for me this is the hardest, and it is managing people's expectations. So we are in this, again, I am in the Christian context, so obviously my examples are going to come from that context, you know. And in this context, there are, you know, I don't know how to say this and explain this, but sometimes a lot of things are taken, I don't know, for granted, you know. People usually assume that you are going to offer a service for free because, you know, you're doing it for God. And since you're doing it for God, you shouldn't expect to get any pay. I think, for me, those are the worst things, to be honest, to deal with, people's expectations. And sometimes these expectations are unspoken, you know, they're unspoken. So I'm just going to take an example. Let's say that I can sing, and someone is expecting of me to sing at her wedding, you know, but then this person somehow assumes that I'm going to sing without asking for a pay. I'm not going to ask to be paid, you know. And if I do ask to be paid, then it's an issue, and I'm going to hear about my name in every platform, or, you know, and me, I'm going to be talked about not in a very nice way. So this is something that I say that it's also very difficult to deal with, and something that you kind of have to learn how to deal with. You know, for me, the way that I'm dealing with the expectations is that I always like to let people upfront what I'm thinking. It doesn't matter whatever the topic it is. I like to know where I stand. I like to let people know where they stand, right? So I'm very upfront. I let you know what I am expecting, and I always ask if there are any expectations on my side. But then I also know that some of the expectations I'm not going to meet them, and I'm quite fine. I'm quite fine not meeting everybody else's expectations, right? I have a few people, a group of people where I'm like, okay, I would like to try to meet the expectations, but if I can't, I'm not going to kill myself for it, right? And nowadays, I have to say that I feel very comfortable in my skin, and I feel very comfortable in my opinions, so I don't have any fear to voice my opinions, and I also don't have any fear of rejections. I think that at this stage of my life, I have come to realize that people are entitled to their own opinions, right? So they are entitled to welcome me in their circle, and they're also entitled not to welcome me in their circles, and this should be pretty fine. I am not forcing, it's not written somewhere that people have to love me or that people have to accept me and things of that nature. So I do believe that it is a skill that one needs to have in managing people's expectations. So those would be, to me, the 3 key disadvantages of living in a community. But I do believe that in comparison to what one would gain in being in a community, I think that those disagreements or those inconveniences that I've mentioned, I think they really fade in comparison, right? So regardless of everything, I would still always encourage people to be in a community, to live, to do everything, to actively seek a community and to actively be in a community. So I would like to hear from you, and I would like to know, what is it that you dislike in being in a community? What has been your experience? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I would love to hear from you, and especially to hear about the not so great experiences that you have made while being in a community, while being part of a community. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you again, and I would please encourage you to subscribe and also invite your friends to do the same, and let us return together until my next video. Take care.